Well, that's a boisterous introduction from the subject of today's discussion. It's the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Diving Navy SEALs Alarm, limited edition of 1,500 pieces. This watch was launched at SIHH 2009. 44 millimeters in grade 5 titanium. You can see and purchase this limited edition timepiece on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Navy SEALs diving alarm. Now, the watch on my wrist is large but not overbearing. Part of the Navy SEALs collection. I understand there are some who may feel a little sheepish about Special Forces branding on what is essentially a luxury product, but the good news here is that all of it is on the case back. There is no overt co-branding or signage, so it's a secret only you and your wrist hair will ever share. The watch itself offers immense substance and many virtues that could persuade you to pick it over an equivalent diver of a less imaginative and practical design. 44 millimeters across the round of the case, not including the unique compressor crowns. The watch is 16.6 millimeters thick. Now, the watch measures two different ways across the broad of the case lug to lug. The first is the actual lug to lug, because the watch does include an accessory strap. From lug to lug, the watch measures 52 millimeters, but from the outermost span of the bracelet, the true distance across the wrist as so equipped is actually 58 millimeters. So depending on your wrist size and preference for strap or bracelet, you may choose to wear it as a 52 lug to lug or a 58. It's entirely up to your preference. The watch does wear well on smaller wrists. As you can see, my 16 centimeter circumference wrist accommodates it nicely. I would say the smallest size you would want to wear wrist-wise would be 14.5 to 15 centimeters in circumference. Now, the bracelet and the case are lighter than you would expect, all in titanium and solid case back, because this is a Memovox with a separate gong. The timepiece is light, wieldy, and I would say it weighs about as much on the wrist as a 40 millimeter Rolex steel sports watch like a Submariner or a GMT on a full bracelet. Now, the bracelet is one of the highlights of the watch. As you can see, it's beautifully finished, all satin, like the case, with a few key polished highlights. You can see the tapered bevel on the titanium case, and likewise, you can see the same treatment across the intermediate links at the center of the bracelet. Subtle. The watch features a double deployment clasp, triggers on both sides. It cannot pop open. It also features a 2.5 millimeter micro adjustment, tool-free, on each side of the bracelet, so you can take it in, take it out as activity, inactivity, hot or cold weather dictate. Now, the bracelet is very comfortable. As you can see underneath, broad channels between the links and plenty of slots for aeration of the wrist to allow heat, moisture, and grit to escape. Those slots also ensure that the watch will not pinch skin or pull wrist hair. Now, you can see the watch is massive, although it isn't physically massive. It's a look. A deep case with a satin finished profile. It's a longitudinal satin that contrasts with vertical satin on the lugs. With the polished bevel, it's a surprisingly nuanced treatment of a big burly dive watch style. Now, the bezel is a crisp unidirectional diving bezel that you can align with the minute hand or the hour hand, depending on how long an interval you're interested in actually metering, but for the most part, as a diver, it will be 0 to 60 minutes. Luminescent pearl, ceramic top for long-wearing durability, very hard to scratch. It gives you a sort of analog chronograph to go with the alarm function of the watch. A very useful timepiece indeed. The dial is all of matte finish with raised and fully luminescent indices and Arabic numerals. There's a slight ray halt featuring the 60-minute count for the minutes and seconds outboard, and then there's an aperture for the discrete date window at 3. Now, the watch is easy to read in any light, glows like a torch at night. It truly does serve its dive function well. The compressor crowns are unique. They are particular to Jaeger-LeCoultre and distinctive of the brand. Since the early 2000s, 1/2 turn unlocks, 1/2 turn gives you 300 meters water resistant. The advantage over a traditional shouldered crown guard and screw down crown is that it is far easier to grasp the winglets when your hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved. Likewise, with the red and white color coding, it's hard to accidentally leave the crown unlocked. Again, red you're dead, and whites are tight, hard to miss. The crowns themselves are luxuriously appointed with soft vulcanized rubber caps. Turn the watch over. Well, this is the only place where you're going to know, featuring the U.S. Navy SEALs warfare device, that there is any link between this timepiece and the world's most famous Special Forces units. Now, part of a series of 1,500, it is a rare watch, and collectors tend to hang on to them, frankly, because this is the dive watch that can do it all. Date, automatic, water-resistant, dress it up with a suit, dress it down with a bathing suit. The alarm is the ultimate travel complication, so you always know when you need to be and where you need to be without forgetting. Memovox, of course, the voice of memory. Inside, a caliber 956 23-jewel 45-hour automatic winding modern Memovox caliber that debuted in 2008 with the Tribute to Polaris family. What makes it modern? Well, it's free-sprung, unidirectional winding, very tough in its architecture. It also features the first quick-set date function in JLC's long history of Memovox calibers, so it's more convenient to set that date when the watch encounters a irregular length month or simply runs down. Also features hacking or stop seconds, and of course it's been through the Master 1000 hours control of fully cased up chronometry, water resistance, shock and magnetism resistance, as well as power reserve. This is a watch that offers an awful lot of content, such that the 44mm case can barely contain it. Again, if you don't quite feel that a Navy SEAL's watch and haute de gamme horology go together, remember, only you and your wrist will ever know. Everyone else just sees the smartest diver on the beach. You can see it and you can make it yours on our website.